Well, when I was in college, I wanted to be a physicist, among other things. And I got a degree in engineering physics, barely. I was a terrible student. But when I went looking for a job, my grades were so bad I didn't think I'd get a good job, but I got a great offer from an airline. And as I was doing this, some of the people I was working with kind of came out of the closet. And one fella had a book that was from Ram Dass called Be Here Now. And I would have to say that book, at that point, changed my life. And I began to meditate. I would take my lunch hour and go out and sit in my car and meditate. And a voice spoke to me. And I was working for an airline. And the voice said, "Don't let St. Louis go to Hawaii. This is 707 speaking." And I thought, wow, I'd never heard a voice before. What was all this? I went in and told my friends who were into metaphysics, and they said, well, we need to figure out what this means. Maybe this means we're supposed to prevent some kind of accident or something. And one of the fellows came in one day and he said, last night I went to the laundromat. And he said there was a tabloid newspaper lying there, and it had psychic predictions for the following year. And one of the predictions was an airplane taking off out of St. Louis would crash and everybody would be killed. And we thought, that must be related. And so we just did a little programming. We said, okay, we're going to visualize this airplane being okay. And we did a lot of visualization work. And then we said, but wait a minute. If the airplane's fine, how do we know this meant anything? How do we know it was going to crash in the first place? So we went back and did our visualization and said, yes, but we want to know. Then one day I was walking through the maintenance area where the maintenance supervisor was all excited. He was on the radio and very excited, and something had gone wrong. So we stopped and we listened. And a 707 in St. Louis had been put on pilot training. And on pilot training, the plane is empty, it is light, and on takeoff, the flaps automatically retracted by themselves, a hydraulic failure. If it had been heavy, it would have crashed. It was light, just went around and landed again. So from that time on, that airline has had a psychic safety group, psychic safety committee there. One thing that happened to me that kind of blew me away, I went into a period where I was actually experiencing what it was like to be an awakened being, to have no problems in your life, to have, what do you call them, gifts of the Spirit that are yours, and those sorts of things. I had a period of about 6 months where nothing went wrong with anything in my life. My car worked perfectly, and for the age of that car, that was a miracle in itself. My secretary she noticed that I was different than I used to be. She would bring people to sit in the chair beside my desk. Some people I knew, some I didn't know, and she would just tell me, don't worry about it, none of my business, and she would just sit people down there. And after a few weeks, I caught her alone, and I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, you're not around these people a lot, you wouldn't notice. But Bob came over, and he had a terrible cold, and when he left, he had no cold. And Martha, who sat by your desk 2 days ago, had a doctor's appointment this morning, and the doctor said he could find no more trace of her cancer. Later on, a couple of years later actually, I was doing, there were a number of individuals at the Unity Church that I was involved in who would come to my house on Friday nights, and I would do a little channeling, and we just had a good time. And one of the nights I was doing a little channeling, and the energy shifted, and a voice that I had never heard came through and said, Paxton, we'd like for you to teach A Course in Miracles. And I said, sorry, I've never read A Course in Miracles. And the voice, the next statement really got me. It said, we didn't ask you to read it, we asked you to teach it. And that was perfect for my ego, right? That was the way they got me to read the course. You can't read it, can't teach it without reading it. So they got me to read the course. And even today, I think it's one of the finest, clearest teachings on the planet on how to awaken ourselves. Some people refer to it as 21st century spiritual psychotherapy. I can't argue with that. Helps you release all of the mistaken beliefs that we have that keep us from being totally happy beings. Many tools come into the lives of we unawakened beings to help us find our connection with the infinite, with the magnificent. Cynthia's art is one of those. Many things have come into my life as I tried to make my way along a path. One of the things that was very beneficial to me was Silva mind control, or the Silva method as it's called now. Jose Silva came up with a way of helping people control their minds, and he actually did it because he had many children who were having trouble in school, and he came up with a technique to turn them into expert learners. But the technique of controlling your mind is necessary if we're going to live in the now moment. Most people's thoughts are repetitive over and over and over, day after day. Silva helped me learn that the mind can be controlled. The psychic ability that we all have can be awakened. There's no one who can't awaken that functionality within themselves. So this was something that for me helped me along my path. I developed guides who would show me movies, what they just referred to as movies. Movies of what was going to happen on our planet, movies of my own life and where I was going. They showed me that everything that happens on planet Earth is okay. It's not a problem. It's not bad. It's not an error. This is not a planet out of control. That's very difficult. That takes many years to digest something like that. I got to see that what we're going to experience on planet Earth here just within the next 30 or 40 years is a transformation that boggles the mind. It is a beginning of the restoration of the Garden of Eden on planet Earth. If there is no time for karma, then there is only time for the shortcut. We're looking for the path home, the direct path home, without the process. We don't want to process all of the mistakes that we made, correct all the errors that we made, handle all the guilts that we have, correct all of our relationships. That's an infinite process. We're interested in going to the final goal, the final objective, the shortcut. I like the words of Jesus. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to learn it. You don't have to do it. You do have to accept it.